First of all, thank you for having me on all of these different channels within this press release. I think the most important thing to recognize is that this is a historic election where we have managed to defeat Labour in a seat which was held with them for a best part of half a century, and that's been recognized up and down the country, and in fact globally it's been recognized with the margin which was held in terms of majority by Khalid Mahmood. So it's been a historic win for the communities within the Perry Barr area, the Perry Barr constituency, and I think ultimately it was achieved because of one simple fact, and that's grassroots politics. People may look at this election and say, well, there was obviously sentiments amongst the community, not just the Muslim community, but the wider community, about hypocrisy and double policies when it comes to foreign policies nationally and internationally. We've seen leaders which have stated one thing when it came to matters of Ukraine, said completely the opposite when it came to the matter of the Palestinians. And so I think the average common person has seen that hypocrisy, and so they are fed up with political parties, and we've seen that pattern repeated up and down the country, where the majorities which were held by certainly Labour Party incumbents have fallen drastically. And so there's a new era, it's a new form of politics, but my victory here in the Perry Barr constituency was because I've been a local councillor here for many years. I was first elected in 2003, and so I had grassroots support, and that led to this successful victory that we were able to achieve in the Perry Barr area. I think I've always fought for justice. So wherever I've seen injustice, I was always vocal about it. I have a simple policy as a barrister. I've acted without fear and favour. I will always advocate when I see injustice, and the Palestinian plight of the Palestinians is something that I've been very passionate about, because when one looks at the history of the sufferings, of course I was going to support the plight. And you know, when you look at great leaders across the world, certainly the South African leader Nelson Mandela, he was saying that the freedom of South Africans following the apartheid would not be complete without the freedom of Palestinians. And so you look at some of the great names in history, they've recognized that. And if that was an issue which I've been passionate about, I raised my flag in support of them in October of last year. And that's something which I firmly believe is a just cause, and I will continue to raise that argument in the House of Commons. Obviously, I'm not blind to the fact that as a parliamentarian, you are the voice of the community that you serve. Not only do you serve the community for local issues, but also national issues and foreign policy. I think that they go hand in hand. And so when you look at what I was pledging, I was certainly saying that we've got money to spend in foreign wars, and that money ought to be redirected into our communities. And so when we go into the House of Commons, if the budget, which we're already struggling with, and it'll be interesting to see how Keir Starmer decides to fund the NHS and other areas such as crime and extra policing, all of these aspects are something that I will certainly raise, and I want to see how the Labour Party will budget for these new investments without increasing taxes. And certainly I'll be saying, why are we spending so much money in foreign military equipment when that money could be utilised in areas such as Perry Barr constituency that I serve, where I've got some of the highest deprivation indices in all the different areas that we all know about. Well, it's not just Kashmir or Palestine, it's issues and injustices across the world. And people on the ground, now with social media, which is very powerful, people are, don't rely on mainstream media to pick up a narrative. They decide what is right, what is just, what is fair, and you can bet your bottom dollar as a barrister who has a legal background, I won't do what Keir Starmer did, understand the law and then not apply it. I will do that without fear or favour, and like I say, wherever I see injustice, I will be the first to speak up against it, and I will raise my voice in the House of Commons to reflect the views of the communities that I serve. An independent one MP will be able to do a lot more than even the party when it comes to individual matters like that.